Welcome to another Petisco, a bite-sized chat about current topics. Today, I have a quick Zoom call with Maria from Portugal Realty's Algarve office. We talk about countryside living in the Algarve. Maria, it's been a while since we've done a Petisco. It's been a while since we've had any Petiscos in person together. This is not on.
I know, you only invited me right at the beginning to talk about the beautiful Algarve food.
And I'm still waiting for the chicken.
I'm still waiting for you to visit. Hopefully this summer now, when you hopefully come out in August, will be lovely.
A few weeks we'll be there. Okay.
Remember, Mondays are the chicken days.
Monday's chicken day. Okay, good. So we're going to do a different Petisco to the ones that we've been doing recently. And this is going to be about countryside living in the Algarve, Portugal, which you know a little bit about. Everybody always knows the Algarve for the beaches, but there's a whole different side to the Algarve that a lot of people perhaps don't know about.
Absolutely. I think when one thinks of the Algarve, one thinks just of the beautiful sandy beaches and the lifestyle of being in the beach, but it has an incredible history and a lot of well-kept secret little places out in the countryside that I think we'll chat about as we go along, but with incredible nature reserves and walks that people sort of tend to forget about. Yes, I'd love to be able to share that with you.
Well, let's do it. We've got this blog open here, another wonderful blog that our marketing team always comes up with here about on the Portugal Realty website about countryside living in the Algarve. The big change here that we notice when you go into these countryside locations is that you slow down. The pace of life completely slows down, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, you have an incredible. You really almost go back in time. The tiny little villages throughout, whether you go east or west in Algarve, you've got the most magnificent little villages, which we term aldeias here in Portugal, which is the word that we use for the villages. I mean, you literally, with the local farmers producing the incredible produce of sweet oranges and the figs and almonds, and they sell them right outside their doorsteps. And you literally walk past and it's bom dia, and you buy your little bag of oranges that the Algarve is so well known for, especially the sweet ones. And it's just such an earthy feel.
I mean, but it's a massive factor at the moment. We're deep into July at the moment. We're coming out of a months of lockdown and pandemic. This question of slowing down, of living a healthier lifestyle is a massive thing for us going forward.
Absolutely. I think people are looking to just get away from the busyness of having lots of people and taking some time to actually just relax and chill. I think we've all been locked down for so long that I think that we need to just breathe air. And you get that here in the Algarve. You get the most magnificent walks and cycling and health lifestyle. And also there's an incredible amount of health spas that have been built out in the countryside of regions like Monchique, which is the most beautiful mountain pass, the highest mountain pass in the Algarve, where you've got fantastic spas. There's a place called Caldas de Monchique that actually has a spa town with actual thermal baths that people go to just enjoy. Well,
it's amazing because you obviously read the blog. So yes. Because the next part on the blog here is about the mountain ranges. And again, it's something that the Algarve is not particularly known for, but there are two really beautiful mountain ranges down there.
Absolutely. And the Serra de Caldeiro, and the Monchique Mountains. The Monchique Mountain Pass is actually the highest, with the highest altitude. It's got 902 meters of altitude. And these two mountain passes actually determine the weather pattern in the Algarve. So they actually stop the winds coming from the north So you don't have the cold breezes, and it gives the Algarve its Mediterranean feel, which is cools it down in the summer and keeps it warm in the winter. So they're very, very interesting. Both the towns, especially the one in Mochique, is very quaint, with very quaint traditional restaurants that you can really have the cozida à portuguesa, but they call it the couve à Mochique. That's their sort of food that they have. So it's only made with pork and couve. So it's very specific to the area. They have fantastic festival there once a year, which is just celebrating the food and the history of the town. So it's very historic in its being, and very lush and very green.
Beautiful. I've been up to the Mochique one. The view from there is just out of this world. It's amazing.
That's an area called Foia. It's actually called Foia at the top, and you can see the Alentejo, and you can see the sea from that top point.
Yeah. Well, this picture here is the actual is from there, and it's sensational. And it doesn't take a long time to get up there. I was quite surprised how quick it was.
No, it's actually quite short. The drive from
you can't walk. Not walking.
No, I don't think we would walk. It's rather
not
steep.
In that heat.
No.
Not in that heat. You mentioned the history and the culture. This is something as well that people possibly miss about the Algarve. You've got some places inland that have some serious, that have some wonderful history and culture and architecture.
It comes from such an eclectic mix of history, from dating back to the Romans, to the Phoenicians, to the Arabs. If you actually take some time, I mean, it goes back to 320 before Christ. I mean, if you actually go into the history of the Algarve, and it's actually been taken over by so many different cultural historians. So if you actually go back and walk through the little villages, you see the history, and it's so synonymous with its ceramics, with its castles, with its architecture, with its chimneys. I mean, that's an interesting, really interesting article I read the other day about the chimneys. Nobody can actually tell you exactly who discovered it, whether it was the Romans or whether it was the Arabs, and who actually initially. But if you look at it carefully, it almost feels Arabic. So I'm going to go the Arabic route. That's what I believe. And the chimneys actually, depending on your wealth, it actually reflected the wealth of your family.
Wow.
So the way they determined the cost of the master craftsmen actually determined the cost of those chimneys was by actually asking, well, how much would you pay for them, and how long? So according to the days that it took to make is how much you actually paid. So very interesting. The chimneys have an incredible history in the Algarve.
Okay, and then another thing down there, which again people may not know about, is you've got some lovely castles.
Yes, we have some incredible castles here, and more specifically the Silves Castle. I think that's probably the most well-known castle. It dates back to 700 BC, and it was very strategic in the times of the Arabs, specifically in the Moors, because it actually protected the invasions that were coming in from the other areas. So that was the main reason why it was strategically built. And it's very much on the top of the hill in Silves. And you can actually walk around the castle walls, and the views are absolutely spectacular from there. And also it was the actual, before, now Faro is our capital, but Silves was actually the capital of the Algarve.
I didn't know that.
In those days. And you can meander down these most amazing roads with little whitewashed houses. And in August, they have a medieval festival there, which is very well known. And you can get a real vibe of the old history of what it was. And it's a family and event well known in the Algarve. And loads of people come to see it.
Okay, another thing that Silves is well known for, and other countryside locations, but in this case, Silves and you've become a victim to one of these things. They've got some golf courses down there. You're a golfing widow, a victim of these golf courses.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, there's some really great golf courses down that way, but one particular one that is really stands out is the Solves Golf Course. It's run by the Pastana Group, and it's an 18-hole golf course with clubhouse, and it's very popular. So definitely definitely a golf widow to that one.
Yeah, Kev spends a lot of time there, doesn't he?
Absolutely. I believe it's a really good golf course to play on. It's got a beautiful mixture of nature and a different feel because it's integrated into the nature, and it surrounds 6 kilometers from the Silves golf course. I mean, from the Silves castle, you'll find, and your drive there is absolutely spectacular.
You used a word just now called meander. You used the word meander, and that, I think, is an appropriate word for the Algarve countryside, meandering through and just taking your time.
And breathing. I mean, it's just spectacular. I mean, you've got so much countryside, and the wine region of the Algarve, you can actually see when you look at the Silves Castle on our picture there, that it is surrounded by vineyards. And the Algarve is starting to produce more and more high quality wines. And just meandering through the countryside, you come across these most spectacular vineyards, which generally in the Algarve you wouldn't imagine them being here. So a really beautiful natural feel here.
Okay, but now you've also got a really interesting property in Solves. You're speaking about the Pastana golf course. You've got a really beautiful property down there, and maybe we can end off speaking about that.
Yeah. Okay, we've got some 2-bedroom apartments currently under construction. The development, there's 2 different developments happening within the actual Pastana golf course itself, and they're modern units. They're built into nature. And if you actually go to the other property that we have, you'll actually see the live photos of the location, which are really lovely to see, because you actually get a more of a feel for it.
So let's go there quickly.
All right. These new build apartments here on the Silves golf course start at the 235. They're actually building 4 units at a time. So you can see the 4 units there. They're actually duplexes. These particular ones are duplexes. So you have 2-bedroom duplexes with your own lovely, beautiful terrace up at the top, overlooking the 18th green. Beautiful modern features inside. So we've got 2 still available for sale that are completely built. And then there's another phase coming up called phase 2, which they will be building another 4. But you've got the clubhouse within short walking distance. You've got a beautiful lifestyle with nature surrounding you, bird life, lovely lakes, really beautiful.
Well, I think that's the key with these locations is escaping that hustle and bustle, escaping that rush, and enjoying nature around, slowing down and breathing, as you said.
Absolutely. And I think for those that enjoy getting away from the maddening crowds, the perfect locations. I mean, you could have the best of both worlds, I think, here in the Algarve. From the beautiful beaches to a beautiful, simple, natural life.
I'm going to let you call it, Maria.
It's a wrap.
Be sure to follow the links available for the full blog article. Please subscribe, share with your friends, give us a thumbs up, and please leave a comment or a review. We'd love to hear from you. Welcome to the simple life.